God's presence. Bow to Adonai in the glory of this holy place. Tremble before God's presence, all who dwell on earth. Announce among the nations, Adonai reigns. The land is firm and will not be moved. Peoples will be truthfully judged. The heavens shall be glad and the earth rejoice. The sea in its fullness roar. The meadows and all that grows in them exult. Even the trees of the forest shall sing praise as Adonai comes to judge the earth, judging lands with righteousness and peoples with divine truth.
Amen. Let's continue on page 15 with Elaine reading Psalm 97.
Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine. Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about. Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth. The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory. Worshippers of idols be shamed for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme bow before God. Zion hears of it and rejoices. The cities of Judah exalt as you, Adonai, pass judgment. You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name.
Amen. Thank you. Let's continue on page 17 with Kathy reading Psalm 98.
Sing to Adonai a new song, for Adonai has wrought wonders. God's right hand and holy arm have brought deliverance. Adonai declared deliverance. As nations looked on, God's righteousness was revealed. God dealt faithfully and kindly with the house of Israel. The very ends of the earth saw our God's saving power. Call out to Adonai, all the earth. Break out in joyful singing. Sing to Adonai to the music of the lyre and voices making music together, with horns and shofar cries, trumpet the presence of the sovereign Adonai. Let the sea and all that is in it roar, the earth and all that who inhabit it thunder. Let the rivers clap hands while moons sing in harmony. Greetings, Adonai, who comes to judge the earth, judging the world with justice and the nations with truth.
Amen. Let's continue on page 19 with Psalm 99 as read by Irene.
Adonai reigns, nations tremble. The one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake. Adonai is great in Zion above all nations. They shall acknowledge your name, saying, Great, awe-inspiring, Holy One. A sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly. Exalt Adonai, our God. Bow down before God, the Holy One. Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you, and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai, our God. You were a forgiving God to them, even as you punished them for their transgressions. Exalt Adonai, our God, and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai, our God, is holy.
And let's continue with Lecha Dodi on page 23. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmianu Elamei echad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, L'shem l'tiferet ve'letila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pene Shabbat Nikah Bela, Lecha Dodi Likra Hakala, Pene Shabbat Nikah Bela, Likrat Shabbat Lechu Venelcha, Ki hi mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha chav ma'aseh b'machshava techila lecha dodi likra hakala penei shabbat nikah bela lecha dodi likra hakala Pene Shabbat Nikah Bela, Mikdash Melech Ir Melucha, Kumitzei mitocha hafecha, Rav lach shevet beyemecha bacha, Hu yachamol alayich hemla. Lecha dodi likra hakala, Pene Shabbat Nikah Bela, Lecha Dodi Likra Hakala, Pene Shabbat Nikah Bela. And we could turn to the last page, page 25, I should say, to the last paragraph. We rise. So we rise. Oh, I get that. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha uve'tzohola toch emunei, am segula vichala boi chala. Lecha di, lecha dodi hakala, pene shabbat nikah bela. Lecha dodi likra hakala, pene shabbat nikah bela. We continue with the Mourner's Kaddish on page 30. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemera ba, v'yama divrach chirute v'yamlich machute, b'chayechon v'yamechon u'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehesh me rabba mevarach le'olam u'lamea maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. So this week, our hearts are heavy. So the news this week was hard. Two beautiful souls, Yaron, who is German-born Christian, and someone who decided to make his home in Israel at the age of 16, and Sarah Milgram, an American Jewess from Kansas, were murdered. They were standing outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. They were attending a Jewish event, and they were murdered, not because of who they were as individuals, but because they were perceived to be Jewish. The deaths were senseless, hateful, and terrifying. For many of us, this hits close to home. Our own congregation has weathered harassing phone calls and multiple bomb threats. And so our fear is not an abstract thing. It lives in the corners of our minds when we walk into synagogue and when we gather as a community. So how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this? There's a phrase in Judaism called ometz lev, a courageous heart. Yaron and Sarah were murdered on Wednesday night, which was the 39th day of the Omer. So the Omer is this sacred day of counting between Passover and Shavuot. In Jewish mysticism, each of the 49 days is associated with one of the lower 7 sfirot, and you have a primary sfirot and a helper sfirot of the aspect of that. So it's the attribute to which God interacts with the world, and which we, in each day we strive to refine ourselves by characters of these sfirot. So Wednesday night, when this incident happened, was Netzach Sheba Yesod, endurance with foundation. That's the name of the night. Netzach, the mystical, it represents eternity, persistence, and victory. Yesod is our foundation, the deep connection, the force that binds and sustains relationships, communities, even identity itself. And so this aspect of God, Netzach Sheba Yesod, reminds us to remain connected and to do so with determination, even when it's hard and even when we are afraid. So that's our task in the face of violence and hatred, not to recoil, not to disappear, but to gather together, to light Shabbat candles with even more intention. To walk through, next week, we're going to walk through our doors, not in denial of what's happening around us. We're going to acknowledge what's happening around us, but we're going to have ometz lev, courageous hearts, to face our shared reality together. Yesod, foundation, teaches us that our foundation is not merely in the brick and mortar. Our foundation is actually each other, in community, in tradition, and a shared purpose that stretches back thousands of years and still guides us today. And Netzach reminds us that we can endure, that the Jewish people have always endured, that while fear may rise, our faith, our traditions, us rise even higher. So this week and next Shabbat, may we rise together with courage. May we lean into the strength of our connections, and may we strengthen one another. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let's continue on page 39a with the Baruch Hu. Rise. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'arim v'aravim. Uma'avir yom u'me'evi laila, umavdil ben yom u'vein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamidim lo chaleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hamari v'aravim. We'll continue on page 40. Avat olam Beit Yisrael amcha hafta, Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadata. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochveinu u'v'kumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nehege yomam v'laila. Vavat char al tsim imenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Page 41. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha Uvleftecha havaderech, ushofbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leod al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitacha, uvisharecha. And we read individually on page 42. Rest of the Shema. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, Daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei bigdehem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanfa pitel v'techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit Urayitem oto, uzachartem et kol mitzvot Adonai, va'asitem otam, v'lo taturu acharei levavchem, acharei nechem, asher atem zonim achareihem. Leman tizkaru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim le'lohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem emet. Emet ve'emunah kol zot v'kayam aleinu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu v'ein zuladeinu anachnu Yisrael amo. Umalchuto b'ratzu kiblu alehem, Moshe u'Miriam b'nei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba, ve'amru chulam, mi chamocha be'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh feleh. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei ayam nifnei Moshe, zeli anu ve'amru. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, v'ne'emar kifar Adonai et Yaakov, uga'olam yachazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufras aleinu sukkah shlomecha. Page 45. Ushmort seitenu uvoenu l'chaim u'l'shalom me'atave ad olam ufrotz aleinu sukkah shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai ha'poretz sukkah shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 46. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. יתקדש שמי רבה, וילמד יברכותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ועולמי יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומן ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו amen. We continue on page 47. We rise for the silent Amida. For now, we're going to turn our cameras off and we'll take 4 minutes in silence to say the Amida or say the words on the page with the prayers in your heart. So we'll be back at 6:35. So we're gonna take this time to say Mishaberach. If you're still, actually, I'll let everybody finish. Okay. So our Mishaberach list says Marjorie Allen, Leon Capuano, Suzanne Urbella, Michael Mandelbaum, Lynn Ginsberg, Joy Richards, Michelle Zucker, Marcia Husson, and Gracie Hancrow. Is anyone else?
Judy Martinez.
Anyone else? No. Mishaberach Avotenu, Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu, Mekor HaBracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Continue on page 53 with the symbolic repetition of the Amida. Vayichulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'kol tzevam vayichal Elohim b'yom hashvi'i malachto asher asa vayishbot b'yom hashvi'i mikol malachto asher asa vayivarech Elohim et yom hashevi'i vayikadesh oto Kivo shavat mikom elakto asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur v'Hanara El Elyon Konei Shamayim Ba'aretz Magen Avod Bidvaro Mechaye Metim B'Mamarot Ha'el HaKadosh Ein Kamohu Hameniach Le'amo B'Yom Shabbat Kocho Kivam Ratzah Lehaniach Lahem Kivam Ratzah Lehaniach Lahem Lefanav navod b'yira v'fachad v'nodei lishmo b'chol yom tamid me'on habrachot el hahodaot Adon hashalom mekadesh hashabbat v'varech shevi umeniach b'kedusha le'amikdush ne'oneg Zecher Lemase Bereshit. We read on page 54, Our God and God of our ancestors, embrace our rest. Make us holy through your mitzvot and let the Torah be our portion. Fill our lives with your goodness and gladden us with your deliverance. Purify our hearts to serve you truly. Adonai, our God, lovingly and willingly grant that we inherit your holy Shabbat, that the people of Israel who make your name holy may find rest on this day. Baruch atah Adonai, who makes Shabbat holy. Yikadavi Kadasha Meraba, Beamadi Vrachirte, Vamlich Malchute, Bechaychoniv Yamechoniv Chaydecho Be Israel, Baagala Uvizman Karivi Imeru. Amen. Yehesh Meraba Mevorach, Leolam Uomeyamaya Yitbarach. Yitbarach Vishtabach Vitpar Vitraman Vitnase Vitadar Vitale Vitalasha Medikudisha. Brechu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imeru. Amen. Titkabal slot honi va'uton de kol Yisrael kadam avuhon di v'shamaya v'imeru. Amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'ase shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel ve'imeru. Amen. We continue with the Aleinu on page 56. Rise. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latet gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu kegoye haratzot velo samanu ki mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem vegohor aleinu kechol hamonam ve'nachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notei Shamayim V'Yosed Haaretz U'Moshe V'Karo B'Shamayim Imo U'Shkinatu Zo V'Gov Hei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Enoch Emet Malkeinu Efes Hakatu betorato vedantayam vehashivota elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim imal ve'al haaretz mitachat enot. No, okay. Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai loch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar b'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz v'yom ha'chu yeh Adonai echad u'shmo echad. So this week for our yard sites, we have my grandfather, Irving Sussman. We have Pearl Feynman, Ned Franco, Aaron Lewis Goldstone, Anna Israel, Harry Glazer, Samuel Mosafir, Max Sarason, Betty Bell, Ephraim Toronto, Verna Wool, Meyer Haubin. Am I saying that right? Somebody,
Halvin.
huh?
I think it's Halvin. You can't hear me.
Haubin, okay. Jacob Leibovich, Annie Werfel, Sigmund Haubin. Okay. Ruth Piha.
Yeah.
Ruth, is that right? Okay. Ruth Piha. Fanny Silverman Schuffman. Revko Bonfeld, Samuel Lee Kramer, Esther Mendel, and Jake Siegel. Phil Ensler wrote that Stefan Essler, I guess this was his father, was the father of twins Caroline and Philip Ensler. He considered being their dad his proudest title and accomplishment in his life. He was an incredibly dependable parent who always showed up for his children. Caroline and Philip will miss him. We are also mourning Daniolo Mocano, 20 who fell in the southern Gaza Strip on May 20th, and Sergeant Yosef Kira, age 22, who fell in combat in the northern Gaza Strip, and we mourn Yaron, and we mourn Sarah Milgram, and we mourn Yaron. And I'm going to say the mourner's Kaddish. I'm going to add Al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, because one of those persons was not a Jew, but definitely deserves to be mourned by us. Did we forget anybody? Okay, so we continue with the mourner's Kaddish on page 58. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah B'alma Divra Chirute v'amlich Malchute B'chayachon v'yomechon u'chaye techol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehesh Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam U'lamei Almaya. Yit Barach v'yishtabach v'yit Pa'ar v'yit Roman v'yit Naseh. V'yit Tadar v'yit Taleh v'yit Talal Shemei Dekudasha B'rechu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran me'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehe shlam rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to us and to all of Israel and all who dwell on earth. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
Announcements?
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. The rabbi will be back next weekend. We'll be happy to see you, Rabbi. So who's on tonight? David and Irene and Ramona and Ira and Cantor and Elaine and Kathy and David.
And I don't know who iPad G is, but I've seen them before.
Is it
It's
Emily?
It's Emily.
Yeah.
Oh, hi,
Oh,
Emily.
do you?
Okay.
So do we have a menu?
I don't think so. I think we have 9.
9.
Well, we have my
Oh.
parents on Facebook, so those
Oh.
that makes it.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So-
Okay. Well, Rabbi, thank you. Thank you, Rabbi. It was a very beautiful, your words were beautiful. And as always, your voice is beautiful. Good Shabbos.
Okay.
Good Shabbos.
Good job.
Shabbos, everyone.
All right. See y'all in the morning.
Right, tomorrow
Good
morning. So tomorrow morning, just before you go, we have a class. It's our last class, our last chapter. It's a story about I don't know if you guys ever heard the story about the person who was looking for a treasure and then he returns home and he finds the treasure in his own house. It's an old Yiddish story. So we'll be analyzing that story. It's a fun story to end, and so it's our siyum, it's our end. So yeah, and then next week we'll have in-person Shabbat services, and the week after that on Tuesday we have our kosher class. So definitely come. I've got a fun scavenger hunt for everybody.
Mhm.
It's going to be a fun class.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.